Her lifelong idol, whom she had chased for a full 12 years, suddenly stood right in front of her. Overwhelmed with excitement, the woman dared not even lift her head. After gathering her courage for a long while, she tremblingly took the hand extended toward her. Yet the moment she looked up, joy turned to shock. At the age of 17, Dolan fell head over heels for Lee Chan, a member of a singing and dancing boy group. It was Lee Chan's voice that pulled her out of loneliness and despair and helped her meet like-minded friends. To her, Lee Chan was the hero of her girlhood and the light she strove with every fiber of her being to follow. When the boy group disbanded later on, Dolan's fondness for Lee Chan never faded one bit. 12 years flew by. She had long graduated and stepped into society, yet her heart that longed for Lee Chan never wavered. Upon learning that Lee Chan had co-founded the fashion firm Apparo, Dolan submitted her resume at once. Even though she was employed at the well-known industry player's company, she felt no attachment to her current post. All she wanted was to join Apparo and prove herself beside Lee Chan. Meanwhile, Xia Ji, the representative of Apparo, arrived at S company for business negotiations. Ostensibly, S company intended to invest in Apparo, but its real plan was to steal its design concepts. Seeing through the so-called investment as nothing more than plunder disguised as cooperation, Xia Ji turned it down on the spot. That very day, Apparo released its admission results. Nervous, Dolan prayed fervently, begging fate to grant her just one wish. When she summoned the nerve to open her eyes, she found out she had indeed been hired. Overcome by overwhelming joy, she rushed off like a gust of wind to complete her resignation procedures. In her overexcitement, she crashed straight into Xia Ji, who had just wrapped up the negotiations. As Xia Ji drove away, he spotted Dolan jumping for joy outside S company's gate and concluded that the woman might be mentally unstable. Having handed in her notice, Dolan went out to celebrate with her two best friends. The three headed to a restaurant for dinner. Spotting a poster of Lee Chan on the wall, Dolan pestered the owner until he gave it to her. No sooner had she returned to her seat than a strange man started hitting on her friends. Eager to show off, the man insisted on performing a magic trick. Before Dolan could react, he tore her poster clean in two. Her two friends instantly bristled with anger, and the man sheepishly slunk back to his seat. Dolan held back her rage and tried to let the incident go. But then the man started bad-mouthing Lee Chan to his companions, sneering that Lee Chan had once been an outcast loser. This was the last straw for Dolan. Grabbing a wine glass, she walked up behind the man. Dead drunk, Dolan failed to recognize that the man she had struck and wounded was none other than Xia Ji, whom she had bumped into earlier that day. Outside the restaurant, she kept berating Xia Ji relentlessly. Aware they were in the wrong, one of her friends gave her a sharp kick. Losing her balance, Dolan dropped to her knees right before him. Her two friends quickly made up an excuse, claiming Dolan was kneeling to apologize and begging Xia Ji to overlook her foolish behavior. Unwilling to carry on the public scene, Xia Ji granted his forgiveness and brought the farce to an end. When she woke the next morning, Dolan had a complete blackout and remembered nothing of the previous night's events. She got herself ready early and headed to Apparo for her first day at work. The second she received her access badge, tears welled up in her eyes from excitement. To her, this employee ID was a limited edition collectible of Lee Chan, one of only 85 in the whole world. The manager led 3 new hires including Dolan in to meet the representative. Dolan's heart pounded so hard it felt ready to burst out of her chest. Before coming to work, she had practiced countless times in front of Lee Chan's poster how she would greet him. Now she was short of breath and her hands and feet went numb. She popped a calming pill into her mouth. The representative shook hands with each of the 3 new recruits in turn. Staring at the pair of leather shoes and the outstretched hand before her, Dolan imagined them bathed in a golden glow, too sacred for her to dare defile. With the pill still in her mouth, she could only mumble her self-introduction. When she lifted her gaze, Dolan saw standing before her Xia Ji, who had been wounded by her the previous night, barely made it through the meeting. As Dolan was heading out, she caught sight of Lee Chan's portrait hanging on the wall and got completely absorbed in gazing at it. Her calming pill got stuck in her throat all of a sudden, leaving her unable to breathe and on the verge of suffocating. Xia Ji rushed behind her to administer first aid and finally helped her cough up the pill. On her very first day at work, Dolan's embarrassing mishaps spread throughout the company. Colleagues teased her openly and behind her back, making her wish she could vanish into thin air. Still, she plucked up her courage and asked the question that mattered most to her: why was Lee Chan not the representative of Apparo? The manager explained that Lee Chan and Xia Ji had once served as co-representatives. After the corporate restructuring, however, only Xia Ji remained as representative, while Lee Chan became a director in charge of fashion design for major events exclusively. Meanwhile, Xia Ji's assistant found out Dolan had previously worked at S company, yet this stint was entirely omitted from her resume. The assistant suspected Dolan might be a corporate spy planted by S company's management office. After all, the management office had dispatched spies to multiple firms to push through acquisitions. Xia Ji agreed this possibility could not be ruled out and decided to keep a close eye on Dolan for the time being. Having embarrassed herself repeatedly in front of Xia Ji, Dolan went out of her way to avoid running into him at work. That changed on the day of the new hire welcome party, where everyone gathered. To liven up the atmosphere, Dolan pulled off an impressive bottle opening trick and drank every toast offered to her. Noticing her lively personality, a male team lead kept refilling her glass. Unable to stand by any longer, even with his suspicions about Dolan still lingering, Xiaoji took the bottle and poured only a small sip of beer, telling her to finish it and head home to rest. Dolan obeyed and left the party tipsy. Xiaoji also headed back to the office early for an upcoming video conference. Upon arriving downstairs, Xiaoji spotted someone from S Company's management office getting into a taxi outside. To his surprise, his office lights were still on. Suspecting an intruder, he hurried upstairs to investigate, only to find Dolan inside. She had simply wanted to admire Li Chan's portrait and snap a photo for keepsake. Too intoxicated, she could not operate her phone properly. As the phone slipped from her grasp, Xiaoji caught it just in time and seized her wrist, demanding to know why she was sneaking around his office. Dolan soon passed out drunk. Xiaoji laid her down on the sofa and reviewed the security footage. The recordings showed Dolan had merely stared at the wall portrait with no suspicious behavior whatsoever. The next morning, Dolan tumbled off the sofa and realized she had spent the entire night in Xiaoji's office. She could not recall anything that had happened. To her devastation, a fellow new recruit told her Li Chan had shown up right after she left and taken group photos with all new staff. Staring at Li Chan's warm smile in the pictures, Dolan sank into deep despair. She had joined Apparo entirely for him, yet she had missed her chance to meet her idol. She wandered out in a daze and ran straight into Xiaoji. Seeing his unbuttoned collar, fragmented flashbacks of the previous night flooded her mind. Vague impressions of his bare chest and his every gesture led her to believe she had done something improper while drunk. Dolan hastily apologized to him. Xiaoji lied and said he had left the office once he finished his work. In truth, he had fallen asleep on the sofa as well. While asleep, Dolan had rolled over and rested her head on his arm. Their close proximity stirred an inexplicable flutter in Xiaoji's heart. Dolan received a call from the manager and hurried off. Her cardholder slipped onto the floor. Xiaoji picked it up and chased after her. Confused by his pursuit, Dolan rushed toward the elevator and smashed the call button frantically. As the elevator doors slid open, the miracle she had waited 12 long years for finally unfolded. Li Chan, the man she had longed for endlessly, was standing right inside the elevator.